The Guardian has conducted a research that says that only 47% of people manage to understand if the red wine in their glass is cheap or expensive. As a sommelier, from my personal experience, I can say that probably 90% of people or even more prefer cheap wines to expensive ones, because cheaper wines just taste better. It sounds really confusing, but the more expensive the wine is, less people like it, and the main reason for that is very simple. People who are not much into wine, fine dining, who just enjoy a casual glass of wine from time to time, they just don't like to overcomplicate things. Like, anyone can accurately identify a Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand, right? It is probably the most characteristic wine in the world, and even if a person has tasted it for just a couple of times, it's enough to memorize its gooseberry, grapefruit, and some tropical fruit aromas combination. But it is very hard to distinguish one Merlot from another, like Cabernet Sauvignon. Of course, you can do it with some experience in wine, going to restaurants, different wine tasting wine at home as well. But basically, for a person who doesn't taste a lot of wine, it may be a bit tricky. And exactly for this reason, Sauvignon Blanc is such a sweet spot for lots of people. It's just something very familiar. I'm comfortable with this one. I like it. I'll take it. Oh, my restaurant got 20 euros profit selling a bottle of Sauvignon Blanc. It's a normal story, not just for Sauvignon Blanc in particular. Like, in every wine list of any restaurant or bistro, or even at the airport bar, you'll see Sauvignon Blanc, Pinot Grigio, and Chardonnay white wines. Why? Because people know and love them. For restaurant owners, it basically means that if they decide to sell some Torrontés from Argentina or Chenin Blanc from South Africa, probably they are at risk that nobody will buy it, because nobody knows what Torrontés from Argentina or Chenin Blanc from South Africa actually is. But if we talk about Sauvignon Blanc and Chardonnay, it's way simpler. Everyone knows these wines, everyone enjoys them regardless of the price point. Even millionaires drink Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand. If there are some millionaires watching this right now, please share your opinion in the comments down below. But yeah, these wines are just a safe choice for anyone. For consumers, they are fine because they taste good. For the seller, they are also fine because they sell well. And even for the winemaker, they serve better than other grapes because he will be able to sell it. That is not guaranteed if he had planted some other grape varieties. It's just a sweet spot for anyone. And if you enjoy my videos as much as a glass of good Sauvignon Blanc, smash that like button and subscribe to my channel and my free newsletter to get more wine and fine dining related content. It really motivates me a lot to produce more videos. And today, cheap wines are more like a style of production rather than just a price tag. If you're in the US, a cheap bottle of wine is like $7 bottle of California Chardonnay or Cabernet Sauvignon without any geographical location more precise than just California. These wines are not fermented till dry. Normally, there is some notable amount of sugar in these wines. And you ask me why? The reason for that is just here. It's our brain. It loves sugar more than anything in the world because sugar produces serotonin. Well, obviously not directly sugar produces serotonin, but sugar starts a chemical reaction which leads to serotonin burst, and that basically makes us feel happier. I am not a dietologist here to tell you that sugar is bad for the organism, but for me as a sommelier, residual sugar in wine serves like a red flag. Recently, I've tasted this Cabernet Sauvignon from California, nothing special, just a casual supermarket wine, and it had a significant amount of sugar, I must say. Is it good or bad? Well, if you like this kind of wine, it's totally fine. It is well made. It was made to be loved by millions and millions of people. Some of them probably don't drink wine very often, taste this wine and like, oh, well, I like this. It tastes so good and fruity, like fresh berries. But these are not fresh berries. It's just sugar that makes berries in wine taste fresher than they actually are. People subscribe to my free newsletter, write to me by email. Gary, is it okay that I like wines that cost $20 and don't like wines that cost $100 or even more? Yes, 100 times yes, it's totally fine under only one condition. You just have to taste a couple of more high-end wines in order to be able to compare. If one's never ridden a Mercedes, it's probably not very wise to say that Mercedes sucks, okay? Maybe the old Renault does the same job, but Mercedes is Mercedes. It's just another level. And if after a little test drive you still prefer the old Renault, it's fine, it's better for you. You won't have to spend a fortune on buying a new car. And exactly the same it is with wine. If you enjoy a casual $20 bottle of wine, that is perfect. The wallet will not suffer that much. I don't advise going less than $20 or euros per bottle because at the lowest price and you just don't get enough quality from the wine. I drink this cheap wine sometimes myself, but I really try not to abuse this price category because it's just not the essence of wine. Like, wine may be better. There is very simple graph which depicts the dependence of the wine quality from the price. In the bottom end of the prices, it goes really flat. The quality doesn't change that much from $5 to like $15. And then from 15, it starts to go up and up and up and keeps growing dramatically up to like $50 price point. And then it makes flat once again. Price goes up almost without any limits. There are wines that cost several grand a bottle, but they won't be way higher in quality than a simple $50 bottle of wine, which is quite affordable almost for everyone. What I want to say here is that the sweetest spot for buying wines is in the middle of this imaginary graph, and the price point, about $30 to $40 or euros per bottle, is the best one talking about price-quality ratio. I've read about one very interesting piece of research recently. It was made in the University of Basel in Switzerland. They poured 3 different wines to different groups of people. The wines were very different in price, like 10, 32 and 65 Swiss francs, so it's a bit more in dollars, like 10 francs, it's probably like $12. The trick was that the cheapest wine was marked 4 times more its price. And you guess what? People liked it more than the others. It's just a little psychological trick which our brains plays with us. We appreciate more expensive things more indifferently from their actual quality. And it's not only with wines, like if you buy a super brand t-shirt, you will treat it differently from a casual H&M one, right? The same with cars, with watches, with clothes, with wine, of course. If we pay more for the wine, we expect more from it. Our brain is just not ready to accept the simple truth that more expensive things do not necessarily mean better quality things. And if with cars it can be more or less obvious, with wines, which one is better? This wine or this wine? I don't taste no difference. And it's all relative, you know? A proverb says, smoke them till you got them, and I completely agree with this one. If you can afford to drink the best Napa Cabernet every day, like, go for it. You only live once, and if you enjoy this kind of wine, that will be the best money investment for you. On the other hand, if you are fine with a $20 bottle of some simple Bordeaux, that is also perfect. These are just different approaches, but if you know what you are doing, you're doing it right. Recently, I've posted a video about alcohol effects on human health and got a very wise comment. I don't remember the precise quote, I'll find it and put it somewhere here, but the essence was that if I died 10 years earlier, that I would have died if I didn't drink any wine, it's totally fine, it's totally worth it. And I really appreciate this approach, not only for wines, but definitely for everything in life. If you love what you're doing, even if it's not probably the most correct or the most healthiest thing in the world, why not? Smoke them till you got them. See you in the next video. Bye.